Okay, my name is CJ Obasi. I'm a filmmaker from Nigeria, and I'm here screening my first feature film, OJUJU, and a short film titled Hello Rain at the Nigeria Focus section of the Carthage Film Festival. Okay, so OJUJU was my first feature film. It was released in 2014. It's a zombie film, and it's an exploration of what I like to call like a social horror film in a way, because it uses the genre trope of the zombie subgenre, but it applies, when applied to the Nigerian context, then it deals with a slum somewhere in the heart of Lagos metropolis, where the inhabitants do not have access to clean drinking water. First of all, I'm a fan of the George Romero classics like Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, all that stuff. But I knew that if I was to make something along those lines, I wouldn't need to replicate it, because there are real situations in Nigeria that I can use as a tool to sort of like create the backdrop for whatever I wanted to make. So in this case, the backdrop was, it's a fact, 70 million Nigerians don't have access to clean drinking water, and this is a real situation. And I felt like if I use that as the platform, or rather the springboard to launch the story, then it becomes much more than a horror film. It becomes like, a social message in a way. And for me, I think all great horror films have some kind of underlying social message. Like, even if it's not preachy, but it lends to something human, and it lends to something unreal. So rather than just inventing some supernatural force. Well, it's interesting. I can only speak for myself. I would say that in Nigeria, everybody knows Nollywood. And Nollywood is sort of like the commercial mainstream hub of the industry. But then you have other people who are kind of figuring out a way of creating a style and a new kind of cinema, in a way, if you would say. And I like to think that I'm part of that group of people. For example, I formed a collective with Makama. You spoke with him, and another friend of ours called Michael Omonua. It's called the Sorio 16 Collective. And in this collective, what we just tend, even though we say like in principle it's anti-Nollywood, in principle, but we're not saying that we have anything against Nollywood. We're just saying that don't define Nigeria only by Nollywood. So far, so good. I mean, like, I get the feeling that the festival audience is a cinema-loving audience. I mean, you can hardly get a ticket; it's always sold out. I get the feeling that it's a city where people really love film, and I think you can't have a great festival without an audience who love and appreciate film. So on that basis, I mean, I would love to keep coming back. Hopefully, when I make my next feature film, hopefully it'll be accepted here and really get to engage more. But I would say that the reception has been great. I mean, just even creating a Focus Nigeria, it's great, and it's a beginning, and even more can be done, and maybe even like a cultural exchange. Yeah, so I've been working on a project, a feature film titled Mami Water, and it's based on the mermaid goddess of West African mythology. So it's a fantasy thriller, and I've been developing it since 2016, and for the better part of last year and this year, we've been in labs. We started with Waga Film Lab in Burkina Faso, and then we moved to the IAVE Producers Workshop, which my producer is still currently on. And then I did like a 1-year script writing lab. Well, I don't know. I would say that any aspiring young filmmaker or any young filmmaker, you just make sure you really love film. If you're going to be a filmmaker and you want to make a career out of making films, it's a really tough choice, and it's going to challenge you in many ways, and you're going to have to make a lot of sacrifices. And the only way it will ever be worth it is if you love film. I just want to say, I love the city, and I hope that I get to come back. And you never know, maybe one day make a film here.